What's up, YouTube? How you doing? What's happening today? This video gonna be about Mariah Carey and her musical influences, and I'm just gonna call them out. Then we'll go back over everything. Aretha Franklin, Minnie Riperton, Whitney Houston, Carole King, Michael Jackson, Prince, Madonna, Janet Jackson, gospel music, and hip hop. Um, if you followed Mariah Carey's career, you could definitely see a lot of everything that she said with the artistry that would inspired her, um, and the tones. Obviously, a nod to Aretha Franklin, who was so versatile that anything she wanted to do musically, she could do it. And there are very few artists that I can say that about unequivocally. And to do it in decades and eras, and then you just sit there and you just like, wow, that's why that one was the queen. You just sit there and you're like, in awe, So that is pretty much self-explanatory where that's concerned and how I could see that. Minnie Riperton because of the octave and the range. Obviously when you hear the whistles, and sometimes Mariah overdoes it to an extent, but when you hear the right cadence, Minnie Riperton made it very soulful. As did Denise Williams, who Mariah surprisingly has not acknowledged, but you can't talk about octaves and range and popular vocals and soulful vocal runs and not mention Denise Williams. Because you got to understand, that is an unwritten rule. That isn't obviously an influence on what Mariah Carey tried to do. Because her song Emotion sounded a lot like Best of My Love. And it sounded a lot like songs from back then. So it sounded like something that what Denise Williams would have done too. So it's very obvious. Whitney Houston, this one is so blatant it's not even funny. But you can definitely see the influence. They did do a song together, When You Believe. But they were linked together. Whitney came up before her, obviously. But you can't help but if you are a female vocalist and you're trying to reach a certain height and tones and everything, you have to acknowledge the Whitney Houston tone and vibe. I mean, it's just too much not to. Because Whitney is your era's version of Aretha with the versatility, the range, the tone, and being able to sing whatever and making it hit. That is speaks for itself, and what have you. Next, Carole King, because Mariah Carey is a songwriter and she does co-productions and things like that. So Carole King would definitely be somebody that would, I'll run around with Aretha too, because Aretha played the piano and wrote and produced. But Carole King had the big songs as a songwriter. So I could definitely see where Mariah, because her pop sensibilities and a lot of those songs she had to grow up loving the Tapestry album. So that's almost kind of like a given there. Madonna and Janet Jackson, well, the New Yorker and her with Madonna, Janet Jackson because of the pop success, and of course the versatility and being able to understand being a stylist and also incorporating certain trends and things into your music. So that would definitely be, something I could definitely see there, what have you. Michael Jackson and Prince, well, obviously, so if you were growing up as a early 80s, mid 80s kid, and you couldn't help but see the dynamics of those musical titans who left such a lasting impact, and they brought out the best in each other. They were a standard. And so, of course, impressionable eyes, especially if you're an artist who's trying to, have this larger than life persona with classic songs and albums and tours, and, you're seen as the end all be all in debates. Those two, definitely you can see an influence on what Mariah did. And last but not least, certainly not least, is gospel, because when you hear a song like "Make It Happen" and you hear the voice and the bass line and the groove, y'all wonder how come she never came up with a whole gospel album, because she definitely has those roots in there. Always Be My Baby, even the vocals and the tone. Do, 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 do. You hear the cadence and the tone. It's very gospel. She has a very gospel feel in her music. So, anyway, Mariah Carey influences. Let me know what you think. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like, and hit that membership, because when you do, requests like this come true. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. And if you think I missed anybody talking about the influences, do let me know in the comments below. I am out. Peace.